Hello, and welcome to Old Toy, New Joy, the show where I share with you my previously enjoyed toys I purchased from online sources, collectors' shows, and thrift stores that once belonged to someone else. I have a package just arrived from eBay. Let's take a look. Wake up, buddy. Okay. Does anybody know what this is? I think probably even my kids know who this is. And my thinking is that if you collect vintage action figures, you need to have at least one 8-inch Mego action figure from the 1970s. And if you're going to have one, it should probably be from the Star Trek series. And if you're going to have a Star Trek action figure, it should be Spock. I think he was most people's favorite. The Mego Corporation began producing licensed 8-inch action figures back in 1971. And these figures had interchangeable heads. And the company folded in the early 1980s and recently reformed in about 2018. And they have since reissued a lot of collectible classic figures over the last few years. Mego also issued 3 3/4 and 12-inch figures throughout the 70s. And they produced figures for Planet of the Apes, Wizard of Oz, Happy Days, Marvel Heroes, DC Heroes, Action Jackson, many, many more, and also Star Trek. And the original television show for Star Trek had already stopped airing new episodes in 1969. However, it gained newfound popularity from syndication in the early 1970s, which also saw the creation of a very cool, short-lived animated series in 1973, put out by Filmation, which used the voices, most of the voices, of the original cast. And I remember watching that cartoon. I thought it was great. So, like I say, they had interchangeable heads, but there were two main body types for the male action figure. And this figure has the more muscular body type with plastic joints. And so it's the Type 2. The Type 1 had a less muscular figure and metal screws in the opposable joints. And there were 3 different head variations for Spock. One had a little bit of pink on the lips, and then one had all light skin and one had darker skin. I believe this is the lighter skin version. And unlike many figures, the boots were actually part of the leg, so you didn't have to worry about losing the boots. And accessories were an easily lost phaser and tricorder and communicator. And I don't have any of those, but I have ordered a phaser and a repro communicator. He does have his original accessory belt or utility belt, I don't know what you want to call it. And so the phaser holsters in there and the communicator goes in there. And the Star Trek series is probably my favorite of all the Mego series. The Planet of the Apes looks pretty good too. I might get one of those one of these days. However, I'm not a huge fan of the superheroes that they did. And Spock has always been my favorite character. I think being half Vulcan, he was cool under pressure, highly intelligent, and very good in a fight. So, before I continue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash his shirt and his pants because his shirt are a little schmutzy. I'm going to see if I can get that brilliant blue back. And when the accessories that I have ordered arrive, we'll put them all together and we'll show them off again. In the meantime, I have set in his background here, you'll see a couple of comic books. So we have a Marvel comic from 1981 and a Gold Key comic from 1976. And then those I purchased from a thrift store. And also from a thrift store, I purchased someone's half collection of 1991 Paramount Pictures Star Trek trading cards, many of which have images that were used in the first cards for Star Trek put out by Topps back in 1976. And while his clothes are soaking, we'll take a quick look at the body. So as you can see, he's very posable. He's got the plastic joints, as I mentioned, which identify this body type as a body type 2. The wrists are also posable in two different ways there. That's pretty sophisticated, I think, for the 70s. Again, more muscular body type, which is kind of silly because Spock was pretty svelte. He was not very muscular, and he did not need to be muscular. Now, all action figures are muscular, no matter what. And it says 1974 on both the head piece and on his back on the figure. It's 1974. And I think the face sculpt is excellent. It's a softer plastic, almost pretty much like a rubber. Maybe it was easier for them to get the details that way. But I think, especially for the 1970s, they did a terrific job on capturing the likeness of Leonard Nimoy. And we'll get a better look. Here we go. Yeah, not too bad at all. So the reproduction communicator and phaser arrived in the mail today. I've still got Spock's original belt on there, but now he's got his repro accessories. These were not 3D printed. I believe these came with the 2018 re-release version. That's what they look like to me. So it sort of complete the look. These are my other Star Trek figures. They just came in plastic baggies with other things that I was interested in over the last few years from thrift stores. But we've got almost 5-inch tall Khan. That looks like his outfit from the Space Seed episode, not the Wrath of Khan movie, but both, of course, played by Ricardo Montalban. A couple of 1992 Star Trek Next Generation figures here, Data and Jean-Luc Picard. And beat up 79 Mego Dr. Bones McCoy. Looks like his nose has been rubbed off. But I also found that figure at a thrift store. I was pretty happy with that. And of course the 8-inch Spock. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked the video, please like the video and we'll keep them coming. For now, this is your Toy Whisperer saying goodbye from Old Toy, New Joy.